I want to go back. Watch the world pack up like a backwards Russian doll, each piece climbing into a smaller, pre-unfolded version of itself. Back, back. Pack the suitcase and unmove in. The apple to the seed, the chicken to the egg, the man to his mother, to her mother, to her mother. Go all the way back. The stars, like wet raindrops scattered by an opening umbrella, call them back. See the conquering universe spreading out, going forth, more, now in retreat. Call it back, reel it in, a great rewinding of time and space till light years become inches, till the Big Dipper fits in the drawer with the rest of God's utensils. Less and less, smaller and smaller, all things unbecoming, coming closer, till the cosmos stretches no wider than our Milky Way. Now smaller than our solar system, now packed tighter than a tightly tied tent, now no bigger than a raindrop, now balanced, infinite density on the head of a pin, and now a word on the tip of God's tongue, and stop. Right here, right now, just before the Big Bang burst and gave birth to earth and her inconsistencies, in the silence before God says, go. Were I to tread softly down the halls of primordial pre-existence and open the door that leads to void, now standing on the other side of everything and anything, to the secret place where God sits enthroned in the great and sacred company of himself. If I knew the art of living without longitude or latitude and had the courage of a multitude and knew the hidden language that sounds without sound waves to sail upon, out into the ocean of God and only God. In that minute before there were minutes, I would ask God what he's thinking. Right now, what is it that makes a God want to build a universe? Why stir from eternal satisfaction when you have all that you need, fullness of life in yourself? But most of all, I would ask God if it's worth it. If it might not be better just to leave everything alone, to leave everything as nothing, instead of kissing the abyss with those well-intended words that go so wrong. And if you must make, I would say, slake your need to create, aren't 5 days enough? Can't you leave dust as dust? Because, I would tell him, that if you do this, God, there will be 3 boys, brothers, 12, 8, and 6, who think they found a forever home, a family to adopt them, to give them the sustenance of a shared last name. But the oldest boy, he'll notice, as she sets the table and as he prays before the meal, the fumbling of her hands and the trembling of his voice, and he'll know what's coming next. That this just isn't going to work, and you're such nice boys, and someday you'll understand. But he won't. What is there to understand? That there's some greater wisdom, some power, some vision. All he knows is the truth he'll age out in the system. And so he stares off in space, where he can already see his clothes being packed and the bags being stacked and the sniffles and sobs as his brothers react, because there's no coming back. No, there's no coming back. And God, I would say, if you do this, there'll be a young woman who wants to be a mom more than anything. But as she leaves the doctor's office for the 3rd time with tears in her eyes, having already had the parties and bought the cute clothes, had the child in her heart, in her daydreaming, already imagined first words, first steps, first dates, but now with a word, that world is unwound. Listening close for a heartbeat to sound, but in the silence she knows it has all been canceled. Now it's time to call their parents who will not be grandparents and tell their friends and brothers and sisters who couldn't wait to be uncles and aunts that it's all undone. And she's all done. And trying's all done. And it feels like life's all done. And she's starting to think she gets how this all works. You hope and you pray, then you wait and you hurt. Hope has turned to broken pieces in her hands as her heart falls apart, because there's no going back. No, there's no going back. And God, I would say, if you do this, there'll be a young man who walks home from school for the very last time, having decided that he would rather not be than be as he is, like this. He would rather risk the hell where he's pretty sure he'll go than the locker room or the lunchroom or the mirrors in the bathroom or the desk in the classroom where he's not who he wants to be and where everyone reminds him of it. And as he walks home, he's not angry or sad or confused or hurt, but just there, numb from it all, like a cut that's covered up with mangled, calloused skin and can't feel anymore. And so tonight, as the darkness grows blacker and bigger, he's closing his eyes and he's pulling the trigger, and there's no going back. No, there's no going back. Because death is greater than light, and darkness is stronger than life. And God, maybe I would say, maybe it's better to have never been than to be like this, at war with the cancer inside and out, the deep secrets that weigh on hearts like heavy wet clothes, this pattern of hazardous matter in motion, wounds from the barrel of words carelessly spoken, and 1,000,001 other ways to be broken. Gasping and gaping, weary and wounded, polluted and poisoned and writhing and raping. Don't you agree that a blank page is better than a tombstone story? Why make life, if death comes with it, greater and greedier than ever life could be? And if I know anything about God, I think it would be quiet. Like Job's friends, before opening their mouths, sitting in solace in the ash and dust for 7 days, I think God would be still. For a minute, an hour, 100 years, or as long as it takes for His grace to space the break between us and bring me so close to His heart, till I knew that He knew, that He acknowledges earth's grievings and groanings, her mourning and moanings, and that it really does hurt this bad, and that the wound really does go this deep. But then, after the silence, my God would speak gently, like a father kneeling by the side of his child's heart's hospital bed, and He would say, "Son of man, can these dry bones live?" And when I did not answer, for fear I knew the truth, He would whisper in my ear, "I want you to know that there will be a table and there will be a feast. But until that day, in the darkness, I will be with you. And more than you know, I promise by myself that I will be with my boys, with William, Jacob, John, as they're left alone, without a home, abandoned, forgotten, betrayed, in the garden on their hands and knees, sweating, bleeding, praying, pleading, please. And when the cup doesn't pass, we will press on together. Foster homes and group homes, and jumping through a hoop homes, and homes, but never home. And the sickening rejection, the dull, dead depression will be mine as much as theirs. When our last chance looks at us and the crowd calls Barabbas, even then I will be there. Because I promise that when they hurt, I will hurt. Late night couch cushion, tossing and turning, burning kind of hurting. Where are you, Father? We will say together. So they'll never be alone. Their story will be my story, and their fate, my fate. And I promise by myself that I will be with her, Sarah. Always say her name. And as she carries that cross of barren, bitter loss, I will carry one too. And when hope meets resistance and the hill drowns the distance, I'll hold tight to my child and sing songs of existence, because I refuse to let her hurt alone. So I'll go till they put holes in my hands, spit in my beard, blood on my brow, wood splinters stabbing the raw meat of my back. I will go. I will go to be with her. So even in the most suffocating silence, she'll hear my beating heart and know that I am there. Her story will be my story, and her fate, my fate. And I promise by myself that I will be with Adam. That day after school and every day before, holding his hand, holding his wrists, holding his heart and his mind and his soul that I love. And when he can't hear me or see me or feel me, when all he hears is death's cruel deception, I will only come closer. And when he cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Even then I will be with him. Do you think I won't breathe my last breath with my child? Do you think I won't go down to death with my child? Though my name is life, I will become death. Though my name is light, I will be swallowed by darkness, so that though man make his bed in the depths, I will be there. And though man settle on the far side of the sea, I will be there. And though he squanders every gift I ever gave in a far-off land, that sound, like the beating of a heart, is the rhythm of my running down the road to be with him. And though those 3 days of death may feel like 1,000 years, as you well know, you need to know a secret. That the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. That the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. That the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness will never overcome it. So let there be light. The first regal rays shining from the east, pointing to an empty tomb, as if to say, I told you so. Will say to death on that day, you can have your grave clothes back. See, we've folded them nicely for you. And breath will fill our chests, our toes and fingertips, our wildest imaginings, because death has lost its sting. The grave is swallowed up in victory. Why do you look for the living among the dead? Haven't you heard? When darkness swallows light, beware of indigestion. And on that third day, you will think that all your laughter was but practice for the laughing on that day. And you will cry precious, joyful tears, for nothing could have prepared you for a happiness this deep, this whole, this unlooked for. When I turn your water into wine, your wailing into dancing, your mourning into joy, your death into resurrection. So let there be light. Candles to light the feast that I, the Lord Almighty, will prepare. A feast of rich food for all peoples. The finest of wines and the richest of foods will gather at my strong table. And chairs will be brought from the far corners of exile for the holy reunion of everything good and everything that I've made good. And at this table I will destroy the shroud that enfolds all peoples, the sheet that covers the nations, and I will swallow up death forever. On that day, you will see and taste and touch the divine reality that was there all along underneath. The truth, the story that goes on and on and on when death has died at last. And though for now it roars and flails and fights in feigning permanence, there will come a day, a third day, 1,000 third days when you'll gather at my side, brothers and sisters, to celebrate and tell stories and sing songs of satisfaction, and death will be no more than a word that was heard a long time ago, and I can't quite remember what it meant. So let there be light. The shining city coming down clear as crystal, a new Jerusalem. Listen close. Can you hear, my child, the voice from the throne saying, look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. And he who is seated on the throne says, behold, I make all things new. So let there be light. Let my secret soak into your soul, seep into your heart, your head, your bones, so that you may be a rebellious citizen of light in the fleeting dominion of darkness, a vision of resurrection life in the valley of dry bones, an Easter hopeful traveler on the long road to Emmaus. And I know you still have questions. But for now, let it be enough to know that though I will not always give you the answers, I will always, always give you myself. And when the darkness is darkest, formless and empty, swallowed in a shadow, home is hopeless, haunted, hollow, and is followed by nothing but black, black night, hear me whisper in the darkness, let there be light.